Welcome everyone, Christine here with the discussion about Wurrzag in Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. The Greenskin Legendary Lord focused on Savage Orcs, and he does certainly make them very, very strong. For his own army at least. He's kind of like the Greenskin equivalent of Ungrim, except he is significantly better than Ungrim because, well, he is part of a much better race, and his Lord effects, his skill line, is actually significantly useful. Now, first off, you're going to want to fight these battles. You can form a confederation with the Teeth Snatches, but that's just not really worth it, because all you're going to get is an extra territory beyond the one you're going to take on turn 1, regardless. So don't bother with that. Like, you can release him if you want to, sure. Like, it doesn't really matter. Just take the territory over here and start getting a growth building, repair the structure. Yes, you do want to sack it for the money, and start getting the Savage Orc camp. Also, start getting a regular barracks. The reason you want to get that regular barracks is because what you want to do here, and you want to get some goblin archers here as well. What you want to do here is you want to get nasty skulkers for the secondary armies you can. You can recruit Savage Orcs. Maybe a combination of nasty skulkers and Savage Orcs would really work. Now, Savage Orcs have no armor, but they do have a good amount of physical resistance. So they're pretty decent against melee units, unless they have magical attacks, but they're not so great against range units. Even if they can withstand a bit of the range damage. But all the same, just not really in a great situation there against... just not really in the best situation there against ranged. So now, once you're done with that and getting more Savage Orcs right there, and we're gonna move against the Bitterstone Mine. Now, the diplomatic situation that you have around you is complicated, let's just say. You do have the potential of allying Scarbrand, you do have the potential of fighting Scarbrand, you have a bunch of choices in this particular campaign. I would probably recommend going for Galbaraz, because there's some pretty damn good stuff over here. So you get tier capacity for Goblin Big Bosses at tier 3, and you get 1 hero capacity for Shaman. That's not particularly useful, though the Winds of Power Magical Reserve is good, and certainly the Oath Gold Mine is absolutely amazing. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to recruit another Goblin, another Lord, the Goblin Lord, and we're going to want... to get some global recruitment done on his army. Because we want to beat Scarbrand to the punch. Now, Scarbrand will take some time, but you want to deal with the top knots before him. This is one of the benefits in confederating this faction as opposed to declaring war on them. But personally, I'm going to declare war on them and march with Wurrzag's army to the north, take the Bitterstone Mine. You also have Caracate Peaks to your east, if you want to take it. And you might even take it at tier 3. Probably not recommended you do so as quickly as possible, because if you go east, you're going to encounter Caracazul, you're going to encounter a bunch of things. So it's just generally better to secure your initial borders. Now, if you want to achieve insane level of success very quickly, that's a different discussion, of course. That is completely different discussion. You might take the risk over there. So over here, we're just going, like, I can't see the borderline, unfortunately. But regardless, we're just going to move Wurrzag right here. I'm not even going to recruit more Goblin Archers right here. I'm just going to recruit Savage Orcs for that particular army. And I just managed to land him directly on the line right there between the two of them. Now, I don't have enough money for the barracks.
What?
But we could
Make an offer. But
declare war on Malagor if we really, really wanted to. Research-wise, I recommend getting healing mushrooms as quickly as possible. I think I'm just going to cancel one of those Goblin Archers global recruitment. Sometimes you can't get everything you want. Just get those Goblin Archers. Now, faction effects-wise, you get 25 charge bonus for Savage Orcs. That is ridiculous. Savage Orcs can do more charges under your control in this campaign than quite a few cavalry units. And keep in mind, there are Savage Orc cavalry units. So that is pretty ridiculous. If you've ever fought Wurrzag in a campaign and seen this guy charge with Savage Orcs at your outline, it's not exactly a pretty sight. You do have an enemy hero action success chance against you of 50%, which certainly is pretty damn useful to have in a campaign. Now, over here for this particular battle, I recommend declaring war on these ogres. And just taking this particular battle, sacking the settlement, because you want the money. Now, the ogres do have a camp. Some of the minor factions don't, but these guys do. Regardless, what we're going to do is start moving this particular army right here. And just get rid of that barracks over there. Their camp is, well, right there, as you can see it. It's a good idea to use Toggle Fog of War just for the sake of planning a campaign ahead. Now, for Wurrzag, you could get the weapon strength, but what you can also do is start getting spells. I would probably recommend things like Here We Go from the very beginning. Yes, you can get the Foot of Gork as quickly as possible, but I don't recommend doing that because it's just, you're not really going to get much use out of it. And you do have the Night Goblin Shaman as well. And then just recruit more units. Now, one nice upgrade that you do have for your Savage Orc boys is you get 30% missile. You can get the Idol of Gork on them with all the scrap upgrades you have. So you can make them quite strong against missile attacks. I would probably not use them, these upgrades on the weak ones, but yeah, boar boys and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, just get these upgrades, make them strong against range units. Because Savage Orcs, they don't have any armor, so they're going to be pretty vulnerable, but you can see that charge bonus. Jeez, that charge bonus, this is like top tier cavalry level charge bonus. It's that freaking ridiculous. Actually, there's quite a few cavalry units that may not have necessarily this much charge bonus. Shock Cavalry certainly does, but still, it's quite absurd. But the thing is, they have Frenzy, they do have physical resistance, and Wurrzag himself, this is why he's better than Ungrim. He has a 50% upkeep benefit for all Savage Orc units. He has a 20% physical resistance for Savage Orc units, and he has Wurrzag's Wa as well. Yeah, this makes him far better than Ungrim. Forgetting the racial dynamics, this is why Wurrzag actually ends up working, whereas Ungrim doesn't. Because, see, he still has units with 0 armor, but he's giving them so much physical resistance that you can only really counter that with magical weapons. Good luck with that. Like, you look at these guys, you're looking at 45% physical resistance across the board for the Savage Orc units that Wurrzag does have in his possession. And in point of fact, I think I'm just going to recruit a bunch of Savage Orcs there in that particular army. There is a chance, a pretty high chance of a rebellion, but I'm not really too worried about that. The ogres might return at one particular point, but defeating their army will slow them down significantly. Like, these minor ogre factions don't necessarily end up doing all that much. Now, Wurrzag does have a special skill line that's focused on increasing the damage of the Savage Orcs. If he was increasing their durability, that would be even better, but he's giving them same stuff as Ungrim. Melee attack, which, yeah, it's good to be certain, it's good to have it, but kind of redundant to an extent, I feel. Regardless, you do have one of the bigger threats. One of the bigger threats you have over here to the south is Malagor. Quika is also a problem that you are likely going to have to deal with one way or another. And you can either try and take Caracade Peaks by military force, or you can decide to try the diplomatic route. If you are going to go for diplomacy, my recommendation with regards to diplomacy, let's see here. There we go. My recommendation in regards to the diplomatic path is you take the Bitterstone Mine, you build a barracks right there, and then you sell it This army should be sufficient to get the job done. And they are at war with Scarbrand. You can't confederate these guys, so don't even try. What you want to do is take the port here. And hell, you might even loot and occupy it. Right there, because it's going to be a tier 2 one soon enough. So there is a chance you could just take it as is. Now, what I like to do here is I like to go show up at the Scabii, beat them up, then as I'm advancing against them, sells maybe some of the territory to Barak Var, and then turn around and beat up Barak Var. This will also expose Barak Var's army, because one of the tendencies of the AI is to move in territory that they've recently acquired, even if it's through diplomatic trade. And that's absolutely something you can abuse as a player, and you should abuse it as a player. So over here, Scabii, you could obviously wait for the war between Barak Var, between Barak Var and the Scabii to start taking place. It does seem like they've lost everything right there. Okay, so we got the Stone Mine Tower. We're gonna get that diplomatic agreement. And now we declare war over here. I am going to sack the settlement. Get a bit of money. And get more goblin archers. And with a good amount of goblin archers, I should be able to deal with Galbraz for that. Though it might be more beneficial to go prevent Scarbrand from becoming too much of a problem. Getting the power of the Wa is useful for the power recharge. And what you may want to do, forget that. What you may want to do, Gork will fix it. Yeah, why not? Though, once you get the ability of recruiting regular shamans, just ignore, from my perspective, just ignore the fact and get another goblin great shaman and start getting some nasty skulkers. Like, you don't want, like, Savage Orcs are going to be good all around, but they're obviously a bit expensive, and besides, nasty skulkers are just flat out in a lot of places. Well, depends on what you're dealing with, right? In a full frontal charge, like, you probably want some combination of Savage Orcs and nasty skulkers when you're playing this campaign. So, okay, Scrag has taken Akandarf there. I could, one of the things, if I wanted to be a bit clever over here, I could just get the peace agreement over here, use the underway, and go over here and take one of these settlements before Scrag shows up. In fact, I think I'm going to do just that. And in return, I will get a military alliance with Scrag. Now, Scrag is not going to be the most useful. He's not necessarily going to be the most useful ally. And you can wait until the war between Barak Var and the Scabii does actually take place, because it certainly will. Like, one of the benefits in playing this campaign is you can just cross the sea very quickly. Like, this is one of the benefits for Belagar, of course. You can use the underway to get over here in the Badlands. And then you encounter everyone over here that hates your guts the moment you take Arcade Peaks. And also, if you're playing Belagar, one likely will happen when you're playing Belagar is Forgrim's going to come under a significant amount of pressure. The biggest threat, I would say, the more immediate threat, rather, that I would call in this campaign is potentially losing territory to Scarbrand. That is a more immediate concern that you might have to tackle one way or another. Now, Belagar is likely going to declare war on you, but he's got a lot of stuff on his plate as is.
Alright, you got my attention.
Now, the risk with diplomacy is, yeah, Skarsnik screwing you over there. How would he screw you over, you might ask? Well, let's just get some Savage Orc archers. Well, the way he would screw you over is he could just show up at Caracade Peaks and take it. So you could trade territory away as you're taking it. You could trade the territory away to Caracade Peaks, to the mutinous Gits. But if Skarsnik shows up at Caracade Peaks itself and then takes it over, he will confederate all of that. Now, that's not necessarily the biggest loss in the world, because you will gain money, quite a lot of it, in point of fact, if you're building barracks. And if you declare war on Skarsnik, well, so what? You'll just fight Skarsnik. Of course, Queek might take advantage of that situation, which is certainly something you ought to be concerned about. And I think I've recruited enough units. Like, you might be able to beat Scrag in taking Akendorf, and if you don't, like in this case, then yeah, just declare war on the border princes, show up over here. Though what you will do, and then you can just use the underway from Myrmidons to get back here. Scrag will certainly give you a good amount of money. And just, yeah, sack this territory. Keep your economy afloat, keep it going, keep it nice, keep it stable. This is the kind of campaign which I would only recommend you play if you're willing to auto-resolve a significant number. If you're willing to fight a significant number of battles manually, because yeah, Savage Orcs having no armor is actually a problem. Now this army, since there's no defending force over there, can deal with this. We're just going to build barracks right there. And just send this second army to beat Scarbrand to Stormhenge. That's what we want to do. That's the main reason to build that particular army right there. Might be looking at running out of money.
I'm in charge here. What do you?
Anad?
But dependent on what you've got to deal with.
Make an offer.
Malagor can be a problem, but Beastmen have been pretty passive as of late. So you never know.
One thing understood. I'm the boss here. Suppose so.
He certainly has lost armies to someone, and that someone likely is Skarsnik. If that happens, yeah, just go declare war on him. Take the boys. Like, the thing is, your territory, like, your Ekrund, outside of, like, the Stormmine Tower, it's all fairly defensible because these regions are just very close to each other. It's one of the problems when you're dealing with Wurrzag is that he will certainly take advantage of the defensive potential of the territory he's actively controlling. You don't need to deal with the entirety of the border princes. In fact, it might be ideal if you don't.
Greetings.
Let's get one thing understood.
They can certainly declare war on the Empire if you want to.
But, you?
And get some deal with these, with the Horde, Savage, or, yeah, with the Horde right there. Recommendation, go Myrmidons slowly, raiding camp, and build another barracks there, sell that to Scrag. Since, if you do take it, as a higher tier, though as a port settlement, it's likely just going to have the port, but regardless, just sell that to Scrag. You don't necessarily need a defensive alliance, though you can obviously benefit from that a good amount. Over here, you may want to loot and occupy Galbraz to deliberately trigger a rebellion here. Not going to agree to that. Because, well, things may not necessarily go the way I want them to.
A quest has been issued, Mighty.
Like, one of the worst decisions you can make in a campaign. Okay, we're just gonna take a Stormhenge back because Scarbrand did raise it. Now, of course, you're not gonna fight Scarbrand with the secondary army. That's not the most recommended course of action.
Look at the meat on it. Can I not slaughter it now?
Military access agreement is probably the best course of action. As you can see, the Red Fangs are in a good position to be confederated over there. And I'm not sure why the map was showing the ogres there. Don't ask me about that. But have they raised an army to try and attack me? I sincerely doubt it.
Take what should be ours.
Then you got the Baleful Mask. Like, this is an easy enough army. The problem are the Doom Divers. Then again, you are Wurrzag.
I spills.
So this guy has an entire force just ready to screw with me. That's lovely.
I has mighty mystic powers.
The time.
Submit to your
So Numas.
This is my place. Ha!
Don't declare war on Barakvar if you can avoid that in this kind of situation.
Let's get one thing.
And just keep getting money from diplomacy.
I am.
Though don't make any firm agreements with clan verms. Because, well, you want their territory. Scarbrand is unlikely to take territory there. We want to deal with Malagor and his passive ass. Now, if he takes Stormhenge, which may happen, what you want to do is go into the Marshes of Madness and trade the territory to him. The marshes are not particularly worth it from my point of view, because they're obviously going to be very underdeveloped right here, and you can get an alliance with Scarbrand if you sell him a barracks. So that's a better choice from my personal perspective, because he will protect your entire southern border. And do note one thing: the desert is yours for the taking. So you can go in Khemri, you can get the Black Pyramid of Nagash. That will give you an enormous amount of power if you do so. Like, Wurzag's campaign is filled with these kind of possibilities. Like, do you go north? Do you go east? Do you go south? They're all viable. Like, one of the things I've stated multiple times over with Azag, one of the huge benefits in Azag's campaign is that you have the choices. You do have a lot of choices in this campaign as well. This army is genuinely not gonna stop that one. It says heroic victory. I sincerely doubt it. Like, if it was, like, that's the thing. It's just bullshit. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Who should we zap? The tribes!
Got that settlement back up. Alright, at this current rate. Now, who should you declare war? Who should you declare the war against? Well, that depends on who's strong at that particular point. That would be my answer there. Bit of a cop-out, I know, but if we look at this situation, Scarbrand might be an ideal choice in quite a few ways. Belegar could work, but going for Belegar is not necessarily the best choice. Though you don't need to declare war the moment you can. It's just not necessarily worth it. Or you can go for a minor war, or you can get vision on Queek and then declare the war. With regards to declarations, of wars, I would typically say you want to declare a war before you're going to start a major war. You kind of want to build up the armies before that. So, for instance, I kind of want to build up armies, the war armies, before I start dealing with Creek. So ideally, I would either declare a war on him, or I would get a buffer of territory. And yes, the Red Fangs are available. Just basic diplomacy, nothing fancy. And the benefit here, well, there's not a non-existent benefit. But what we can do with this territory
Don't you insult me.
is we can engage in a bit of diplomacy
Let's do this.
and just sell him the Crooked Fang Fort. Though first, we're going to sell... Like, generally, you want to sell stuff with the barracks in it, because the AI does value that. Now, the reason you don't want to get the first Confederation done as quickly as possible is because of this. Like, you will... Like, while you don't have any kind of limit in terms of... Like, while you don't have any kind of limit in terms of, like... how many factions you can confederate as quickly as possible, you do, however, have a concern. And that concern specifically relates to a public order penalty. So for instance, here I'm going to get a rebellion. Wurrzag will deal with that particular rebellion. This is one of the benefits of going around this route right here, as I have done so. Now, I could screw Scrag over here, sell him the territory, declare war on Belagar. And, yeah, let's start getting that situation sorted out with Queek. The Ogres are not going to do anything. Or by the time they do, because they generate money very, very slow, by the time they do, it's like, it's going to be GG. Like, I think Rate of Assembly deliberately nerfed them, so they wouldn't be... So you might be incentivized in terms of leaving them the hell alone. I don't know.
I will rip the flesh from your skull with my bare hands.
And there's the money from Sacred Scarbrand.
Nasty.
So I just teleport this army over here.
Your flesh before I claim your skull. Accept.
And take the money. The useful aspect that, the useful part that he'll play over here is he will keep Forik off your ass.
Shall we resist using the cleavers on it?
Now, he's at war with Barakvar, which is something I've seen quite more and more often here. That Greg does have a tendency to go for Barakvar. He'll usually win
This is
even.
my tribe, so talk, but remember who the real boss is. Me. This is my tribe.
Alright. So this way, by declaring war against him,
I am the High King.
it does feel like Skarsnik is not going to amount to much in this situation.
Where's my manners?
Skarsnik. We likes an uninvited guest, don't we, lads? Good one.
Though he's not at war with him. Not yet.
I'm special.
Oh, I actually had an army here that I didn't realize. Alright, 2 turns on that particular settlement. Get more growth. And as the fires of rebellion prepare. And after that, once we take this particular territory in the floating village, like, you got 20 turns to deal with Forgrim. So that should be enough to deal with Queek as well. Like, you could even get a military alliance with Scarbrand, and then declare war on Queek. Oh yes, unleash the Scarbrand on him. Wouldn't that be hilarious? So now Wurrzag is gonna go directly for Karkay Peaks and hopefully get that Confederation sorted out. Or if he's not quite capable of that, like, take the Marshes of Madness, sell all that to Scarbrand, get a ton of money in return. Get another army. Like, Scrag will not win against... like, Scrag might win against Baragvar, which is not necessarily an ideal situation for you to tackle.
This magic is real! It comes.
Move this army here.
What? Oh, yeah.
I hunger to quaff your blood and take
And I can sell him the floating village as well.
Chosen.
Yes?
Although if I make military, although if I
All right, then, let's do it.
get a barracks there beforehand,
I'm the only boss, so speak. And all right.
now Queek may take, Queek may end up taking Karkay Peaks here. Not the biggest loss in the world.
Nasty magic.
So I just start getting more troops. This army is going to go deal with Baragvar.
Mr. Stabby.
Goblin Big Boss with Mushroom Addicted is certainly nice indeed.
Come then, messenger. Spit out your words so I can be done with them. All right.
That will move their armies out of position
Master of
and in a more vulnerable position for me to take advantage of the situation. And also give me more money. Greenskin diplomacy at its finest. Alright, so there's your rebellions. Not really a problem. They are a bit inevitable that they're going to happen. You can obviously prevent them if you really wanted to. Question is, do you want to? That is the real question. And we do have an army there under Program that's marching for the tower there. Not an ideal outcome. But now because Queek has taken some territory in Karkay Peaks, we might just be able to pull off a confederation there. Like, if you can confederate Karkay Peaks, and this is why you may want to sell territory to them.
Come to join my war.
what?
Who calls?
To get those diplomatic relations sorted out.
Anything you say. Dog wants me over there.
Wurrzag, the great
And now Wurrzag goes to deal with their rebellion. And we start getting tier 3 settlements. You do want to get a bunch of settlements to tier 3 for shaman capacity
I'll use me spells.
and for giant river troll hags. Another rebellion right there. A bit of a public order benefit can help you out. Right here, though, there is a control building.
What? Oh, yeah.
That was even, that was pretty easy.
Anything you say. The tribe's ready.
And right here, maybe, if you're using the Warband upgrade mod, of course, we're just gonna get some Savage Orc archers. Because I do see that army right there. Savage Orcs versus a cheap-ass Vampire Counts army. Who do you think is gonna win? It would be inevitable.
Test my endless array.
Alright, with the barracks, he's gonna give me a military alliance. Yeah, it kind of creates bad AI empires, you selling so many barracks to them, but all the same. Get him right there to give me the upkeep benefit. Certainly losing money in this situation.
What do you want?
That's not really too big of a problem. Now, it might take a bit until that kicks in. Ooh, 4 grand. I wonder who he's at war with. Probably Clan. I mean, he is at war with Clan Verms. That is one of the issues here. Like, you can end up in a war with Quake, Forgrim, Scarbrand, everyone you want. Malagor. And there's the rodent. That's gonna ruin my day. See, Skarsnik does have a tendency of doing this. Hasn't changed.
So,
Well, if Skarsnik does take care of Kate Peaks, let him have it.
Fine.
Now that army is not going to be able to attack the stone mine tower just yet. So you got a bit of time.
This magic is real.
And now I got money from Scarbrand coming in.
In battle, I'll tear you apart as you deserve.
Alright, that's all of his money.
yes?
Yeah,
I hear ya.
What? Talk at me.
let's take what should be ours.
So now with all those recruits, Forgrim's force right there should be obliterated very easily.
Oh, I'm the great green prophet.
He can deal with that on his own. Try not to piss off Rapunzel unless you really want to fight. Not because she's difficult to tackle, no, you would fly out, smash her in pieces, but more so because, yeah, if you go down that deep, down that south, you're gonna have some issues. Volkmar, for instance, all that. And I guess Skarsnik just lost? Possibly. Usually he'll win. But in this case, he might have lost. I don't know. Though not necessarily decisively. Or he won, but he won against the minor army right there. So the main army is still... Like, he hasn't defeated the faction leader.
Counted. Bow before.
The Empire.
Gotta give it to Skarsnik, though.
That works. Away. Oh, yeah. Spells are charged.
Whenever possible,
Send in the spot.
attack armies outside of settlements. That way you can get the post-battle loot option.
Wurrzag.
Okay.
Great prophet. Yes, he'll be proper good.
So what we gonna do here is set the trap. A lovely juicy trap that we hope they fall into. There was also those beastmen. Get goblin tied here. That's the main benefit, really. Now, the AI has a particular tendency to target armies that are either recruiting or in forced march stance.
It isn't him.
Just worth remembering that point. Next turn, we are going to be able to get this to a higher level. By the way, what I like about this campaign is like you don't have any limitations on recruitment, unlike freaking Skarsnik. You can recruit whatever you want, but you are incentivized to get Savage Orcs. That's a much better system than what some other campaigns do. Astankia as well. Like Astankia also limits your recruitment. Okay. That is frustrating, undeniably so. But they're dead. Pretty much. Did they lose that many men just attacking us? Well, I am using some auto-resolve mods over here.
Sog off, vampire.
Nasty magic's
Yeah, the stone mine tower is the better choice.
now. This magic is ready.
Jeez. Okay, got healing mushrooms. We can get sharp stabbers. Now this army is not really dangerous. There is one beastman army that can genuinely be dangerous, but it's not that one.
Anything you say.
I have no time for this.
I is invincibles.
What? This magic is real.
Also, one interesting benefit here. Like, yeah, as I said, the ogres are not gonna do shit.
More likes it.
One interesting benefit in this situation.
You caught me in a non-murdering mood.
Alright, they're still not quite willing to confederate. Guess they need a bit more motivation, if you will.
The tribe's ready. Move! Yeah, on it. Who should we zap?
Might be a rebellion. Might not be.
I'm special. Me.
What was that?
Get rid of Marcher. Scavenge is always good to have.
God, talk. I'm listening. This is
It's not about the money. Owl. So what is Skarsnik doing? I've seen the AI do some things like this. Like usually, those guys in Arcade Peaks end up losing outside, right? Because quick attacks it, something like that. So there's not necessarily a full stack of troops defending Arcade Peaks. In this case, what's happened precisely is that... Okay, so Skarsnik is falling back. What's happened in this particular situation exactly is the fact that because there is a full stack, and it is a passive army, that they're not going to Like, Skarsnik can't win that battle. It doesn't matter. Like, he certainly wouldn't win it in a not resolved situation. And even manually, it's a lot of units in there. And there we go, as expected. Am I supposed to act surprised? I'll tell you, this is my surprise face. And guess what happens now? Now, we obliterate Quake. Like, that's a nice benefit in this campaign. You have those diplomatic choices. Now, obviously, things could have gone differently, because Skarsnik can arrive at Carrick Peaks earlier and maybe win it. It depends on RNG. You might have to take it through military force. You might...
Green profit. Build up.
Nasty magic's ready.
You might have various incentives to do things in certain ways. One of the things we can do here, though, is declare war on the fricking rat.
Now, curse 'em.
And set up an ambush for the ambusher. No joke. It could work.
There is
It could work.
not killing you. Agree.
So, deliver your missive?
Yes. Onward.
Citra does not.
Like, we're only at war with Thorgrim, so what do we care? And yeah, start getting that shaman capacity.
Now they'll see.
What?
Right, speak your words and I'll decide if yous lives or die. Not ever.
And while this isn't the best army in the world, it is still an army.
No chance.
Pretty decent one at that. So Skarsnik decided not to ambush me, but that's fine. Because what he did was actually worse. He moved over here into the Black Iron Mine with his entire army,
Your head.
which will not stand a chance against this army. Like, the Stone Trolls alone could probably defeat him. Well, it might seem like a dangerous force. It isn't. It really isn't. And he did me a favor. And that is it. Campaign domination.
I'll get out. Away.
I mean, I might be going bankrupt.
On the way. This way. The tribe's ready.
Knowing Thorgrim, he has a high tendency to want to fight.
Who should we attack?
Though he's gonna run like a little coward right there. They have wronged us indeed.
I'll use me spells.
But regardless, Carrick 8 Peaks is under my control.
Stop! No!
Oh, Scarbrand. Afraid of a little rodent. Someone should just call Corn and said that Scarbrand ran from a rat.
I say no. Ready to go. Nasty magic's ready.
No, really. He ran from a rat. Freaking coward. Now, Carrick 8 Peaks is actually not worth it for greenskins as a city in a lot of ways.
I'm special.
But regardless, after this point, it's all smooth sailing. What do I need to do it right here? Pretty simple.
Chieftain of the... What you want? Treaty pact? Betray me.
Pretty simple.
I know.
Just roll up
You're not
to the
welcome,
north.
so I won't pretend otherwise. Now,
Agreed.
Crix,
Right.
Oh, well, we're with Azak. Until Ungrim starts kicking his ass. And then I'll take advantage of that. Money-wise, I might have to disband a force or several, but objectives accomplished. Pretty much over here.
Cork and Morcock, I mean. Yes, he'll be proper good.
And if Orgrim turns around to
Talk up,
smash
and
me?
your crew.
well, I'll just destroy him first. Even with both of these stacks, he doesn't quite have enough force to deal with me in a straight-up fight. He only has one unit with magical attacks and very, very limited range units. That's one of the problems, by the way, in Forgrim's campaign. Even under AI control, because, like, guess what? A lot of the issues that you deal with as a player are also issues the AI also has to tackle. Oh, fun fact. Troll. Giant River Troll X. So replenishment is back on the menu, boys and girls.
that works.
I might be willing to accept one turn of... or we could cancel one of these barracks. Or both of these. Just to get it done. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
The tribe's
Or maybe
ready.
disband one of the many myriad of forces that I have. Though not that one, because I want that one to take undefended territory and mount Squickhorn and all that.
This magic is real.
Which it should be able to do right here. As long as you have enough money for one turn, you're good. Costin signing out. Stay tuned for more.